What drive just kicked in right now? The food drive. It's like, oh my God. Oh, did I bring apples and oranges and some nuts with me? I should have done that, right? The food drive is real, right? By the way, the lunch will be on time, right? I'm just like messing with you right now. Just to illustrate how powerful the food drive is, right? The other drive is the procreation drive, which is essential for the survival of our species, right? And the last one is the danger drive. The danger drive. These drives are wired into us, okay? So remember, our ancestors were nomadic hunter-gatherers, right? So they had to actually navigate danger, right? They had to hunt for their food. They didn't go to the local supermarket for an hour and fill up, and it was a predictable outcome. Most hunts end in failure. So they had to actually walk and hunt, and they had to overcome danger, and you know, tigers, saber-toothed tigers might be there, snakes might be out there, but they actually had to hunt for their food, right? So these drives are challenging to resist once they kick in. I just messed with you on the food drive. You're struggling, right? You were struggling there for about 30 seconds, right? So they're actually challenging to resist. Also, you cannot sink there. Once these drives kick in, it's very hard to actually, you know, overcome them sometimes, right? But they need to be managed. So this is, again, having that strong relationship with our conscience, which is our command and control structure. We can actually manage these drives. Now, the drive I want to actually focus on right now is the danger drive. Again, this is a survival. We're wired with this danger drive for survival. And when you're facing a situation, there are three fundamental responses that happen. Flight, right? You try to run away from the danger. The other one is fight. You try to actually take it on. And then the third one, which is the least apt for the modern world, is freeze. Freeze, right? So actually that freeze drive is very, very powerful when we reflect back on our ancestors, right? You know, animals, they don't have good sight, but they're very, very susceptible to smell and motion. So if you're out there in the wild, right? For example, I go hiking. I live in Seattle, and we go hiking in the Cascade Mountains with my family, with friends, and so on. And there's bears out there, right? And there's signs on the trail, right? And the signs say, "Don't provoke the bears," right? You know, don't try to fight the bears, right? Keep away from them. And also don't run away from the bears, right? If you see a bear and you suddenly start running, do you think you can outrun a bear? You cannot, right? And what these notifications are saying is just freeze, right? If you freeze, they cannot detect motion, right? And if the bear, and 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, the bear will go on his merry way. But if you try to provoke him or you try to run away, you're going to have a small problem. In fact, all your problems might end. Okay? So freezing, right, is something that's wired into us. However, we have a problem with this in the modern world, right? We're often freezing in the face of challenges and not moving forward. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So the fear response, right? This fear response is really about the fear of pain or the perception of pain, not pain itself. And fear should be our counselor, not our jailer. We experience fear a lot, right? Throughout a given day, okay? And we actually have to deal with that and manage that effectively. So let's talk about managing these limiting beliefs, right? So I want you to pair up again for a few minutes And I want you to brainstorm a list of limiting beliefs that you have experienced that actually are blocking you from achieving your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations, okay? These are limiting beliefs within us. We are our own worst enemy many times, right? In many ways. So why don't you make a quick list of some of these limiting beliefs that that you've experienced. I'll just give you some like initial examples, like just to get you prompted along the way. So for example, what's your name? Joan? Joan. So here's, why don't you stand up, Joan? So here's Joan, right? So Joan is a young person, wouldn't you agree? Right? I think you're younger than your real age. You look like an 18-year-old. I won't ask you your age, right? But she looks like 18, right? But I know you're not 18. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Look around. She's 29, ladies and gentlemen. She looks like 19, right? Wouldn't you agree? I said, you know, are you just finishing? I was going to ask you, did you just graduate from high school? Yeah. So like Joan might, the limiting Joan might say, right, when an opportunity comes, oh, I'm too young. I have no experience, right? I'm too young, there's no way I can avail of that opportunity, okay? But then somebody else might say, hey, I'm too old. I'm too old, right? So we're talking about transforming education to 2050. So some of you in the room might say, oh my God, why didn't you tell us that 25 years ago? I'm too old to be part of this campaign. However, Victoria yesterday said, yeah, I'm going to be around by 2050 to see this through, right? Remember that? So Victoria was a great example of somebody who is not letting her age be a limiting belief, right? Now, Joan, I now that I know you a little bit, I know you don't have that limiting belief. I knew it, right? Yeah. You say that to everyone.
I am limitless.
Give her a big round of applause. Okay. Right. Pair up for a few minutes. List down some real limiting beliefs that you're experiencing that are blocking you. Be honest. Remember, everything that's said in this workshop stays in this workshop, okay? It's not to be posted on Facebook tonight or Instagram, right? So, this is a safety zone, right? A safety zone. So go ahead.
My limiting one, I think that has withheld me is the element of age. I keep feeling like it's too late. It's too late to do what I want to do. It's too late. It's like, okay, my children can do it. But for me now, let me sit back. So it's too late. Age is my limiting problem. Yes.
You can still do it. You're young.
Age 60. Where am I going?
You have.
I feel like, can I go back to class age 60? What for?
I think yet faith. I think one of the greatest things, I don't just say what is limiting. It was and don't do like me, I don't have to have shots. How is it going to go through the systems? Am I going even to see how am I going to the meeting really argument? But the burden was I found myself keep doing it. So it really limited me.
So your limiting factor was?
It was the fear of I believe I had a lot of doubt.
Doubt.
Doubt about my ability to go through the system.
So the experience.
Yes, the experience. So it really hit me for many years. I kept writing it with a lot of doubt and fear. And you see, he says we fear something which is we have not even experienced that fear, but we fear something that will not even come. Then when I started writing, What's finding myself in the integrity center, ESC coming in to endorse the votes. Somebody just go meet Kai is president of Next Kai tells me you don't need the president to just connect with the judiciary, not at home. I didn't know, and she did not have. He said that's the person you should. She came in to want a bit. Things started coming now. Seeing now the government consulting me to go and start with. So when I sit back, I say, big fear is bad.
Fear is limiting.
So limited, and as you say,
Because fear brings doubt.
it brings
And fear brings doubt. Fear brings resentment.
yes,
Yes.
brings delays,
Yeah. So and you start,
stagnates.
yeah, brings stagnation.
It's like now what you're saying, if you're thinking of age, there's something big you can do, even your son can take sometimes. But your experience, within 2 weeks, you can have something blast. Because you have experience. Him, he
I've been
doesn't have.
thinking of writing academic books
Yes.
in my area of teaching. Clips for. I've been thinking of. I started my PhD, I deferred, and every time he's like, "No, it's too late. No, you don't have sufficient funds." So insufficiency.
Sufficient funds.
So I'm stuck.
I was just listening in on some of the groups here. Some very interesting things were being shared about limiting beliefs. Okay, guys, welcome back. It looks like the limiting beliefs discussion is a spirited discussion among you, right? Yeah. So the main point here, right? The main point here is that limitations, like 9 times out of 10, that block us from achieving our aspirations and goals are not externally induced. They're internally induced. Write that down. That 9 times out of 10, limitations are not externally induced, right? We may actually blow up that as an excuse. That actually is a limiting belief that they're externally induced. They can be overcome. And then it's actually internally. For example, about 40 minutes ago, maybe at the beginning of this session, remember I said that you are needed? Remember that? You are needed. You are being called. You are needed to drive this campaign forward. And suddenly, some of you may be struggling with this idea. Okay, Tony is saying I'm needed. My conscience is saying, yes, I'm needed. But then, your impulses are saying, hey, I'm too busy. Time. I'm going to have to maybe sacrifice something in the evening to invest into this campaign. You know you're needed for this, right?